Hello, my name is Ramos. I'm in the United States Business and Politics Group. In the midst of the campaign season, it's impossible to avoid the constant bombardment of political jargon, specifically financial, because all you really hear about is the economy. But I'm here to talk to you about one term in particular, and that is derivatives. It's more than likely that you've heard the word, usually in the context of the 2008 global financial crisis. But derivatives are a largely misunderstood financial instrument, and they're very complicated. In his book, Traders, Guns and Money, Sajid Das, a derivatives consultant, says that derivatives affect every single one of us, whether it's because our parents' savings are lodged into banks that use this trading instrument, or our grandparents' pension funds that are also being used to trade these derivatives. So, what is a derivative? In a broad sense, a derivative is an instrument used to minimize risk. It's a type of contract where two parties make an agreement to pay each other a certain amount contingent upon a future event or something that's happening right now. But that doesn't really tell you anything. So let me give you an example of what a derivative is exactly. Suppose you're a farmer, right? You have a field and you intend to grow a crop of wheat in this field. You invest in the soil, the water, fertilization, and pesticides in order to grow this crop. So you've already gone out of your way to make money from this wheat, right? So you're exposed to two risks. There's volume, the amount you think you're going to yield from that crop, and then there is price, the fluctuation of the wheat at the time you yield the crop from when you're actually growing it. So suppose that the volume is fixed. You know how much you're going to yield from the wheat, but you're still exposed to the risk of the price, the fluctuation of the price. If the price goes up, then you can make money from that from the yield. But if the price of wheat is low, then you can lose revenue. So the only determining factor at this point from recovering the money you invested in the wheat is how much you can generate from it. One way that you can minimize this risk is by selling the crop forward, meaning that you make an agreement with someone else to sell the crop at a set price when you have the wheat. So you're no longer concerned or worried about how much you're getting because you've already sold it by the time that you grow it. So you know how much you're getting from this. But because of that, you also give up the benefit of windfall. If the price of wheat goes up substantially, you don't get that benefit because you already made an agreement with someone else to sell the wheat at a set price. So you minimize your risk of losing money, but you also lose the benefit of gaining a substantial profit from the price of wheat. So what if I told you that you can have the best of both worlds? This is where a derivative comes in. With the combination of selling forward, if you want to gain from the benefit of the price of wheat going up, you would buy something called an option. But alright, at this point you're probably wondering who's going to buy your wheat forward. Why would they take that risk? Well, someone interested in buying the wheat forward is someone who is exposed to the opposite risk, which is, in your case, a baker. He's interested in the price of wheat being low because the cost of bread is lower, so he can make a bigger profit. That's someone you can sell the wheat to forward. So if you purchase, the person you're purchasing a put option from is basically an insurance. They make an agreement to pay you the difference of how much you sold it at the set price, known as the strike price, and how much it went up. So let's say you sold the crop for $100. If the price of wheat went up to $120, the price of that wheat you yielded went up to $125, the person who sold you the option would sell you that difference of $25. But like any insurance you take out, you have to pay a premium for it. So you're paying the insurer a premium to assume that risk of the price going up. And in the case of the baker, he has something called a call option, where he avoids the risk of the price going up because he bought it at a set price from you. So from the call option, the insurer in this case pays him the difference of the price if it goes down, because he's gaining money if the price does go down. So there are this, and one variation of a derivative that I'm mostly concerned with is the OTC derivative. It's over-the-counter derivative. It's the exact same concept, except that they're traded privately between two parties. The people involved are the only ones that know that the trade happened. The public has no idea that the trade occurred. Therefore, that's where you get the term over-the-counter derivative. So now we know what a derivative is, but what are the immediate effects that a derivative has on the market? In its purest form, the market and the derivative itself. So because of the complexity of derivatives, this allows for people that are involved in the market to make these risks, or you could call them bets, on anything. It could be gas, gold, wheat, in your case, or even mortgages. So because we live in a capitalist society, the type of market that we have is described as a boom and bust herd economy. And what this is whenever there's a rise in price of a stock, the tendency of stockbrokers is to, as a herd, buy that stock because they want to make money from the price going up. And the same, that's the boom. And whenever the price of a stock is crashing, a bust, the tendency of stockbrokers is to get rid of that stock because they don't want to lose money from it. That's where you get boom-bust economy. So the effect that the OTC derivative has on this type of market, boom-bust herd economy, is that it magnifies the rise in prices, as depicted in this graph here, from 1967 to 2007. If you adjust it to inflation, it's about twice as much. A house was worth almost twice as much as it was, in the difference of 40 years. So it has the effect of magnifying price increase, but it also, because an over-the-counter derivative is not publicly available for everyone to see, no one knows the severity of the bubble. So if the price is continually increasing, no one knows why. They just know that if they invest in it, they're making money. But once they realize that there's no particular reason why the price of housing should be going up, then everyone involved in buying the stock of the house, or in this case a mortgage, sells it. So the crash is much more severe than if an over-the-counter derivative is not involved, or derivatives themselves. But what are pundits' perceptions of derivatives themselves? Well, Warren Buffett, it's like you've heard the name, the third richest man in the world. He describes derivatives as financial weapons of mass destruction. He says that they have hidden losses that will eventually emerge, and they also allow companies to use money that's not theirs because they're using the savings and pensions, risking money that's not theirs. And then on the other side we have Alan Greenspan. He's probably the largest proponent of the derivatives market. He says that it is the most significant event that has occurred in the financial industry in the past decade. And he also argues that it enables market participants to use derivatives to